All right. Try to make this a true quickie. So I'm curious to see if I'm able to use markers as the base for paintings to get a nice even flat color. So whipped out a quick Spider-Man sketch. I'm just going to do some quick inks on it and then see how well I can get the markers to work to see if they bleed. Using a cheaper brand of Hoo alcohol markers, or some Amazon stuff. So yeah, let's see what happens. So definitely try to keep it as a quickie. An hour max. See how far I can get into it. I'm hoping that using markers works because it will definitely speed up my process. Actually chatting about this with Sean Forney the other day, and the thought is that acrylic's not gonna. Hey, there you are. Yeah, I'm gonna do that marker test now. We'll see how well that works, or how fast I can get to putting some colors down. Might have to do this as a two-parter. I'm using Spiderman because he's actually pretty simple. There's really only two colors here. What are you up to, Sean? Night monkey. That's right. Killer night monkeys. Yeah. Maybe I should have done the outlines earlier. Yeah. Yeah, because it's really a lot difficult to ink at this angle. What I'm actually most worried about at this point is that the inks are going to bleed. We'll see what happens. What should I do here? Maybe some of that. I'm not going to do the webbing on the head. That's just asking for trouble. Well, thanks, Sean. This part's not the interesting part. It's going to be more I want to get into the colors. So I have a set for UD that just came in the other day that I need to I think that's what I'm going to spend the next 2 weeks working on. So if I can find a way to speed up the process, that will be very useful. Put a little web in there as well. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Okay. Oh, lost my cat. There it is. Maybe I should have taken a picture of the lines before I did this in case I need to try it again. Okay, let's do another piece of webbing here, going off frame. No, it actually warmed up a bit. Kind of all melted away. It's supposed to get snow on Christmas, but nothing major. Winter doesn't really kick in full speed till like January, right? Here, anyways. So my understanding is that the alcohol dull markers don't really like the pencils. I don't want to blend in some graphite into the background here. So I'm going to assume the background is going to be one shade of red, just because that seems to look cool. And I think if it all works out well, I'll even go as far as doing an outliner on Spidey in white. We'll see. Line frame there. Yeah. Okay, so I think for the background, I picked what they're calling geranium. I think geranium is a flower. So let's see. That's a nice dark deep red. It doesn't seem like anything's bleeding yet. And I have very little experience with markers. This is, I think, the third piece I'm doing a marker. And then the other two that I did were just basic blocks of color. Nothing wrong with a wet Christmas though, right, Sean? I'm using a comic book backing board for this as well. Yeah, it's laying down pretty smooth. It's not this part that, so like I said, the other two cards that I did in marker, and it was pretty smooth. There's some bleeding, but I think that's primarily the paper. So it's a comic book backing board. Bristol probably works better. And I'm doing it on the soft side too, not the glossy side, because that's just stupid. I can't remember who it was that was telling me. Maybe it was you, Sean, to do the strokes in the direction of the shape. Yeah. If you're gonna do it right. And this half-ass wet Christmas bullshit. Maybe it was Gordon actually that was telling me this. I asked a bunch of people that use markers, kind of, hey, what's your tips? So the set came with a colorless blender. I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do with that. Like, are you really supposed to use that to blend? Use the colors, better results. Also, just blend with the colors versus going over with the blender. Okay, so let's try the other tip for some detail. Some of the edges. Nice. So making sure I don't have any white spots within the crop area. Okay, so I think that's good. I can't tell if it bled through because I taped up the back to keep it clean. So I'm gonna look up a quick Spider-Man reference. So I can tell what's red, what's what. So it's like our blue. No, he's got boots. So that's gonna be red. That's gonna be red. Don't see that. He's got his undies, his underoos, and the gloves are red. It's about there and it's about there. Head's red, and then he's got like little shoulder thingies. So let's do block this in for the red. Is his back red? Just gonna pretend it is. We'll leave that blue, leave that red. Oh, and he's got undies, so that's red. That looks weird there. Oh, the glove. I'll do all the blacks after. And hope nothing smudges. Blue with the red spider. I'm not sure what that means. All right, so for the suit base, I'm going with what's called the deep red, which is this color, which I would expect the background to be the deep red. Oh, his back. Okay, well, you're not going to see his back, so. This is going down really smooth. In the larger area, you can see my brush strokes, and that might be because I used the brush strip. The camera is not really liking it, but whatever. I wonder if I should use the pointy end for everything. Okay, boots, gloves, a little white bird stripe there, or a little blue stripe up on the side. The spider's black, so that can go at the end. And his mask is the pointy end. Yeah, you like the pointy end, don't you? You're a dirty girl. Come on, this is amateur hour over here. Monday, 5 o'clock. Totally amateur hour. Oh, hey, Kevin. Sorry, I didn't say there before. Trying to do two things at once here. Okay. All right. Don't need that anymore. Don't need that anymore. Let's see what the cool gray looks like. I'm gonna do a cool gray on the lenses as a base. Yep, that works. My blue red, and now pastel blue, which looks like this for the rest of the body. This might actually be too blue, but or too light. But I think for what I'm trying to achieve, if it works, this is actually perfect because I'm just going to darken on top and add the values. There's some bleeding going on there. So Sean, am I supposed to let the colors dry, like fully dry before doing this? Or Gordon, you're a master of the marker. No, dry before. So I did the reds, and I'm doing the blues. And it seems like see, it's already blending. Like it's already picked up some red, even though I didn't. Yeah, dry between each marker color. Like I'm not doing overlays, but looks like the edges are bleeding a bit. The second layer really helps solidify the color. Very interesting. Oh, okay, so just let it dry a little bit longer because it seems around the dark red it was fine. It's just the red, the lighter red. So let this sit here for a minute while I prep my paint. I guess I can put the markers away. Where am I on time? 27 minutes. So 27 minutes to lay flats. If I was doing some paint, I'd probably still be doing the background red. So let's put this thing away before I knock it over. Yell at stuff. So that there. Oh, just a marker. Yeah, that blue, I really like the contrast between the blue and the red here. I think if I do a white stroke around them, assuming everything works, this should be really sweet. Where's my brushes? Where's my brush? So let's use a number 1. I lose focus a little bit. Let's use a small chisel. All I'm doing is detail work. So where's my teeny tiny brush? Where's my 2/0? And a 2/0. Colors go here. Let me actually stick this to a piece of board so I don't touch the paper so much. So as we're all watching paint dry or ink dry, let me take this up. So I like to tape my board, my cards or my board or whatever to a larger piece of just cardboard. It just gives me a larger area to hang on to and easier to move and less likely to touch the surface, especially as I start getting into the paints. Plus it gives me an area on the board itself where I can test out colors. Okay, let's get some water. And the webbing I'll do in pen at the end, so don't forget that was my rag. That was my trusty rag. Right, it's all about the show. So, so we got some blues. The blue's the largest area, and actually that's the. Is that dry? How can you tell if it's dry? Is it just dry to the touch? Or you know what? Let's just start in the ice because I know that's dry. Yeah, I'm not getting any weird results so far. It looks like the paint's sticking to the ink just fine. Did I lose focus? 1 second. Let me do the autofocus here. Focus. Focus on this. Focus on this. I want you to focus. There. Okay, that's better. So, saying the gray's not the best judge because it's easy to match the values. And not really an area because the smallest part here, not really something I would be too worried about getting a flat base for. But gotta start somewhere. Okay, this brush is too small for the rest. Blue tip. So we'll go with a number faded, probably a number 2. All right, so I'm gonna just go with my blue here. It's a little too wet. Maybe not wet enough. You know what? I'm actually gonna use blue, to tint the shadows on the suit as well. Okay, there is something weird going on. I'm getting a strange texture. I'm not quite sure if it's because my brush is too wet. Or just the way the pigments are blending. It looks okay, but it's not exactly the color I was hoping for when doing the blue over the red. So that's important to keep in mind. Maybe I need to use medium instead of water. Mark Brooks, yes, but I think he does watercolor. And I really not digging watercolor for some reason. Too opaque, but it might work when mixing things like this because you get the flat base from the markers. I'm also wondering if I need to test this a little bit more. I'm wondering if doing an ink wash underneath the markers will give me more of a result that I'm hoping for. I'm not hating this, but I'm not sure that I love it yet. So I need to see how it turns out. Well, I guess since I used blue to tint the shadows on that hand, I need to do the same thing here and everywhere else on the left pigment. No, too much. Yeah, that's the other one. Just do the monochrome underpainting, and then do inks over it. But then, like the ink marker, the alcohol ink markers on top, I then need to see how the markers will behave with going over the painted surface. I don't think the alcohol inks are going to take very well to the India ink or the acrylic inks. But yeah, that's going to be the next test. I do think I need to do at least one more test in this approach to kind of give it a fair chance. Just at this point, it feels like I could have just done all of this in marker. Also didn't do a very good job on blocking out the shadows. So I'm kind of winging it and trying to figure it out with paint, which is always a risky game to play. possibility will tell once I start coming in with the darks. Okay, so let's do, is that all dry? Dry enough. Just mixing a dark red. Some darkest there as is crotch there. The inside of the boot. So we're almost looking like the background red. Definitely is an interesting effect. I'm not hating it at all. Are we in time? 45 minutes. I think I'm making very good time considering how long this would have taken to paint. Or just flat paint. Someone's messaging me. 1 second. What it looks like is that because there's the ink layer that I'm painting over, the paint is not as tacky to the surface, so it needs a little bit more time to dry. Which is fine. Hey Jane, what's going on, buddy? I'm doing well. You know, just getting my paint on. Experimenting with alcohol markers and paint. What are you up to, buddy? I don't know why the camera's having such a hard time with focus. I think there's too much red and it doesn't know what to do. I'm just gonna go a little darker in the core shadows. Almost, well, this is one. Oh, you a Spiderman fan? So I picked Spider-Man because there isn't a lot of color to him. He's basically blue and red. So I don't want to spend, an hour blocking in colors. Because the point is to see how I can get these two mediums to work together. So it was pretty simple to lay in the flat blue, the red in the background. Like I was saying earlier, if I was doing this in paint, I probably would be spending a good hour getting the flat colors in. Actually, I probably would have been working differently because I like to do the underpainting first and then do flats. But I'm trying to get a consistent color base. And the markers have proven to be very good for that. And I have to be honest, I'm not crazy about doing Spider-Man because of the webbing. So the pose that I picked here, really the only webbing that's going to matter is on his face, and that part's easy to do, or easy for me to do. It's the body webbing that kills me every time. So it's all very strategically picked and positioned, so I don't have to do a lot of webbing. But if I can get the seal of approval from a Spider-Man fan, it's okay with me. So now I'm just going in with my base red. Get that locked in. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, I'm not complaining. I am pretty stoked that this is working. Yes, the next I need to do one that's more maybe some more colors, but am I knocking the camera? Looks like it. When, because you were mentioning, Sean, that you're kind of getting an itch for paint, and yeah, give this a try, baby. James says, I got extremely sick when I was a kid, and my mom came home from the drugstore. She picked up 3 comic books for me. They were first comics, and they're all Spider-Man. That's from my addiction to comics. She passed when I was 20, so yeah, she's just a special character for me. You know, like that's, you know, I'm sorry that, you know, you were sick as a kid and about your mom, but I mean, this is where I find a lot of people that are into the comic books and into this aspect of fandom. It's not the characters that necessarily drive their fandom, it's the experiences that drove them to discover the characters. Right? It's, yeah, and it's, I'm sure it's the same with other hobbies as to how you get into it, but comic books, I think specifically, is just such an accessible, or used to be such an accessible medium to get into, because you could just go to the drugstore back in the day when, you know, you could buy a comic book at the convenience store, go buy a quart of milk and grab a comic book. I don't think you can anymore because nobody distributes comics. But yeah, I love it. It's great. Just a nostalgia factor of the character, not of the character, of the experiences around when you got introduced to the character. Okay, so red's almost done. I do need to darken a bit here, the chest. So let's go in with a darker red. And then we need to go with the dark blue and really add the darks in the blue and get some blacks out. What am I in time? 56 minutes. Not quite finishing them in an hour, but I'll stick around for a little longer because I do think I can get this bad boy done in the next little bit, which will be revolutionary for me. If anyone's ever watched any of my other streams when I'm working on a card, kind of start to finish, I'm extremely slow. I can spend an hour just doing the pencils. Who's messaging me? No, that's too black. It's getting gray. So I think if I would have done the ink underpainting, I can keep the get the shadows down consistency without worrying about the colors, and might help get a little bit more unified. But has nothing to do with the choice of mediums. In this case, it's just the approach. Yeah, this is, I am so happy. Well, this is working out. Very curious to see how this approach works on licensed stock. See exactly how bad I mess up the paper by doing this. So I'll check the comments in a second. Just want to get this done. Yeah, man. James says, I really love watching someone paint. My art isn't that great, but when I get my mini painting back up to snuff, I might try to do something like this. Absolutely, do it, man. Just paint, draw, scribble, push ink on paper, whatever. The more you do it, the better you get at it, the faster you get at it. And the curse of the artist is that you're never happy with your own work. You're always looking at things and you're like, oh, I could do better, or that's not the way I wanted it to be, or even downright like I don't like it. But I think the reason that happens is because when you start creating something in your mind, oh wow, I'm thirsty. In your mind, you have a certain image, and sometimes you don't get that on paper or on canvas or on the cards the way you envisioned it, and you think to yourself, oh man, that sucks. But it doesn't. It just not what you thought it was going to be. But for someone that's looking at it who doesn't know what image you had in your head, they're like, oh man, that's awesome. Here's some money, give it to me. Okay. Almost there. Now let's just go with the black. I don't really go with the straight black. The only thing I'm going to do straight black is probably going to be the webbing. It's a very diluted black, and it'll just help bring everything together, I hope. And because I'm just using black here, I should be able to go over everything. Blues, reds. Yep. I definitely could have done a better job planning out the forms. Could have done that at the penciling stage. The shadows are a little sketchy. Jim says he finds painting to be relaxing. That's why he loves miniature games so appealing, and the amazing amount of detail put into the sculptures. Some of them blow me away to see. This is why I got back into painting, is the relaxing factor. It's a lot more forgiving than other mediums, especially acrylics, because you can always paint over stuff. And you can really kind of get lost in it. I think I was saying this on one of the other streams. I spend most of my time on the computer for work stuff. So I really wanted an outlet that allowed me to, get away from the machine and just kind of relax, not let my not recap today, and just kind of let my mind go numb, just as I'm just trying to do the problem solving aspect of creating art. Let's do some shadows on the mask. And I don't do a lot of it, just because I've been so busy with working on sets or commissions. I'm not really drawing for myself, except the odd piece here and there, like this one, which is an experiment. Working with photo reference, like trying to, like doing a Vin Diesel portrait or something like that, where there isn't as much thought and planning required, if you will, because for trying to reproduce an image, all you got to focus on is technique and not so much about creating, right? Looking at a picture and just kind of reproducing it, and you go along and you do it. That stuff I find extremely soothing. Like I said, don't really have much time to do that now, which is okay. But for me, that's probably one of the most relaxing things. No, that's black. Red. I'm really going in with the darkest darks. It's just a darker or more or less diluted black mixture. 1 hour and 8 minutes. Yeah, this is so great. I love it. Can't wait to apply this into normal production. Okay, so next, webbing. The webbing. Should cover the water. Where is my black pencil? Do I not have a black pencil here? No, that's not good. We don't want to do some graphite. Well, you know what might work? Is a dark blue. So this is backing board. This is a comic book backing board. And I'll show you what I did with it because I cut up a few of them. So I took one backing board, cut it into 4 rectangles. This is the soft side. And on the back side, the glossy side, I taped it up with a piece of paper. So this helps it from stretching. Helps it a little bit from working. It also keeps the back clean. So if I end up selling the piece, I don't have a messy back. And then it's also taped down to a piece of cardboard, which helps me maneuver it because I like to spin things around a lot and I can't stand working on a tiny piece of paper. But yeah, the Bristol so far, the backing boards have been working really well because it's a nice thickness, right? I use watercolor paper on larger pieces, but that will start working as well. I tried gessoing the back of a board of the watercolor paper. That didn't really, it helped, but didn't keep it totally wrinkle proof, if you will. I think the thicker the paper, the better the results are going to be. What's up, Rusty? Sorry, this is probably not what you expected for me to be working on based on our conversation. But I had to figure out if this technique works because I got to work on a set. Oh, no problem, Jamie. Any questions, man? Just fire them off. I'll try to answer. I mean, I'm by no means an expert. I can just talk from my experiences and kind of what works for me. And hopefully there's some learning there that can help you. And if you find something that works, let me know. Always looking for ways to improve performance, workflow, all the good stuff. Garbage. Sorry, I just got like 17 junk emails. Let's switch tracks. So I'm doing the webbing in blue pencil now, just so I can see it. And then I'm going to go over it with a fine liner. Like I said, the webbing kills me every time, so hopefully I don't mess it up. How does it go on the hands? It's another Spidey picture. Spider-Man. Can I see your hands? Show us your hands, Spider-Man. Is that one gonna work? No. Oh, you think it'd be easier to find a picture? Oh, here we go. It's close. So they just go. Kind of like that. I barely ever draw Spider-Man because of the webbing. So no, I don't have them memorized. Leave me alone. Don't be a bully. I don't think I have any character memorized. Like even Venom, considering how much I draw Venom, I think I'd have him, his costume all memorized by now, but I don't. Okay, that looks pretty good. Does he have webbing on his butt? Let's say he does. Sure. Okay, so now where's my fine liner? Let's go over my lines in black. I learned on another card that trying to do the webbing with a brush is just stupid. Maybe a dip pen, but definitely not trying to do this stuff with a paintbrush. I think actually, if I could have found a black pencil, I could have just left the black pencil marks without having to bother with going over with a fine liner. Oh, I need to do his boot too. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the results of my experiment here. You missed that at the beginning. I was actually saying that I wish I took a proper picture of this in case I mess it up, so I could do it again, like without having to redraw and just do a transfer. But doesn't look like I'll need to. Okay, boots. Where does this work on it? How does this work on his boots? Okay, so let's see a picture of his boots. You see here? Oh, they kind of just follow. Looks like it's just like that. Oh, geez, the mask. This is going to be the only thing that's pure black, though I will add a highlight to it. I'll do the highlight in paint over. Spiderman does whatever a marker can. Use some paint. Speed it up. Where's my rag? All right. Oh, whoops. Almost there, folks. I'm going to avoid getting into like color cast and stuff like that, because that's just gonna, there's no way around it. That just adds another layer of time to it, but I'm just going to add highlights. So I lit him from sort of the back. And this is just very diluted white acrylic. And going over the webbing helps add the depth to, because the blacks get softened and there's still a hint of them, but you don't actually see them, which is the way any surface would react in a highlight. Everything lightens up. So it helps me clean up some of those bleeding edges from the marker. However, I said that I was thinking of giving the whole silhouette a white stroke, but I think what I'm going to do is just go on the outer edges with a thicker black fine liner and just give him a stronger outline to make him stand out a little bit more from the background, and call it a day. Put him in the for sale pile. My time 1 minute 23. Not bad at all. I'm really, really happy that this worked out. Oh, we got a little Twitch spam bot. Look at that. Look at that. We'll get rid of him later. Really thought Twitch was better than that. Must be a compromised account. It's a little dark on screen. That doesn't make any difference. So many things I want to try using this. I wonder how I can apply this to the portrait cards. I need to order a skin tone marker set. Sean, you still there? Or are you digging out your paints now? Yeah, I think Sean went to dig out his paints. He's got an itch to scratch. Okay. Oh boy, 128. Can I do a thick stroke around them in 2 minutes and break the minute and a half or the hour and a half window? I believe so. So originally I used a 0.3 micron. I'm using a 0.5. I'm just going over the edge and going over the outside of the original line to really beef it up. If I had a 0.8, I probably would have been using that. What am I going to do with it? It's going to go for sale. Well, I'm going to take pictures of it, post it, and then it's going to go on the pile of stuff that I'm going to sell. Like, I figured there's really no point in me holding on to all these things. So oh, hang on a second. Got a message came in. Let it fully dry, trim it, like trim it to actual sketch card size, and then put it for sale. A second, I got some messages here. So if anyone's watching is interested in giving Spidey here a good home, PSC rates are $55, includes track shipping in North America. DM me, set up all the PayPal, and I'm probably not until after Christmas because that's just. But I shipped a bunch of stuff today, and I spent almost an hour at the post office waiting in line, and then doing the custom forms and all that other stuff. So that's it. Oh, 1 minute over. But this is my. Is it the Amazing Spider-Man? Astonishing Spider-Man? My Spider-Man. Acrylic paint over Copic base on a comic book backing board trimmed to size. That's it. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Whoever's still there, looks like I lost some of the viewers, understandably. I'll probably be streaming a couple more days this week before the holidays. And if all goes well, I'll probably be streaming every day next week at various times. Yeah, if I don't talk to you before, have a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, if you want to make sure that you get to see all my other stuff, hit the bell, hit the subscribe, follow the page, whatever, depending on the platform you're on. That's it. Thanks so much. See you next time.